Hello fellow students, how are you doing? This is gonna be my second video with sharing my first impression results with Sim Update 10 Beta of Microsoft Flight Simulator 2020 and testing and tweaking with DLSS support and multiple monitor display support for the first time. In the last video we used DirectX 11 and in this video we're going to use DirectX 12 and a little bit testing and tweaking with the parameters. As you can see, my system spec is RTX 3080 Ti, i9 12900, 32GB of RAM, Sim Update 10 Beta and World Update 10 USA is installed, Ultra preset for the first setting and DLSS performance and triple 50-inch TV. By the way, I like the triple display in the main menu. It's kind of interesting if you are in the hangar. But by the way, for your extra knowledge, Microsoft is rendering a whole environment while you are in main menu. It means while you are uploading or updating your flight simulator, your GPU is almost 100% busy. This is something crazy. I hope Microsoft developers do something about that, because it's gonna render the environment at 60 frames per second and it's not something reasonable. Okay, this is our first test, and as you saw a few seconds ago, I'm using map enhancement for using Google Map in the flight sim as well. This is ultra preset and we're using DirectX 12 and DLSS performance. The front display is in 2K and the left display is also at 2K and the right display is 1080p. And the results varies a lot, but I see a little bit improvement with DirectX 12. On the ground, I witnessed the minimum of 13 frames per second, but it was just temporarily. I saw the average between 17, 18, 19 until 20. And as soon as with hookup, I saw a range of 70, 80 to maybe 30, 32 or something like that. For the average, it was about 25 frames per second. It's a little bit improvement since DirectX 11, and you should remember that this is the ultra preset and I'm using the lots of clouds and lots of buildings. It's kind of a stress test. It's just for demonstration. It's maybe not something that everyone needs. And keep in mind that I'm still limited by the main thread. It means that CPU is limiting me. If I analyze the settings a bit in detail, I see that if the CPU wasn't the limit, I would get a frame rate about 35 maybe. So CPU is limiting right now. By the way, my CPU is right now the best CPU available out there, 12900K, and I haven't overclocked it yet. Maybe I will test with overclock and I see some improvement, I will share the results. But the problem is still the same. The games cannot handle the multi-core capability of this CPU, so it's using the single core, and it is believed, and I am optimistic that it will get better with DirectX 12 getting out of this beta state. So maybe in the next future DirectX 12 will be more developed and it will be better and we see better frame rates. Right now we are landing in another airport in San Diego. I haven't been to San Diego yet. I've been to Los Angeles but not San Diego, but I flew a lot for this test and I almost know the city. Okay, by the way, I'm using the FSRealestic. As you can see here, the ground effects, touchdowns, and the landing. On the runway, we have about 20 frames per second. Okay, this is the end of the first test. Let's go to the second test. In this second test, I selected the high-end preset instead of ultra. Everything is the same, but I'm using the high-end preset. And as you can see, the frame rates are upgraded. We are seeing 30, 34, where we are between all these buildings. I'm gonna perform some maneuvers between these buildings, and let's see how it works. Just a very good improvement. Average frame of 35 frames per second while we are on the air. And as you can see, by the way, many buildings are look some melted or not complete. If any of you have any idea what's happening here, I'd be appreciated if you put it on the comment section. I believe it's a problem with photogrammetry. Maybe my internet connection is good, but whenever I want to download something from Microsoft servers, my speed is about between 1 to 10 megabits per second. But in the normal settings, I have maybe about 40 to 60 megabits per second. So maybe there's something right. I appreciate if you share if you know anything about these buildings and these artifacts. Okay, this is the third test, still in high-end preset, and instead of 2K, the main display is in 4K. That's because I saw that most of the time I'm limited by the main thread, so my GPU still can handle maybe 4K, so I increased the main display or the front display to 4K, and as you can see the frame rate almost didn't change, it's almost the same, maybe 2 or 3, average is about 30 frames per second maybe, a little bit less, but as you can see I'm maneuvering between all these buildings. It's a very high stress test, so it's not something reasonable for everyone to use. Okay, and for the last test, it's just a few seconds. I selected to use the F16 to maneuver very high speed between these buildings, as you can see almost the same settings, 25 frames per second. And as soon as I climb and get high in the skies or get to the ocean, I almost see the frame rates of 40 and 45, even with this setting with 4K display. I saw 40-45 frames per second, but as you climb higher, it becomes better. It's just another witness that the CPU is limiting us. Remember, CPU is somehow in the easy explanation gonna handle the movement of the objects, movement of the buildings. So if you somehow fly near the buildings, your CPU can be under pressure. So if you are limited by the CPU, you should usually decrease the buildings, trees, bushes, and this kind of details around you. So when I took off and climbed, because we are limited by the main thread, as soon as we climb and get higher in the sky, the frame rates will increase significantly, and I also witnessed the 45 to 50 frames per second, even with triple displays and main front display at 4K and left display at 2K. Okay, that's it. I hope it will be helpful for any of you out there just playing with this new sim update beta. Remember, this is still in beta and we are in July 2022. Maybe in the near future we see a boost in this frame per second, and I hope I see that the sim update 10 is scheduled to be released on the end of August 2022. I hope Microsoft do some other improvement as well. As I told you in the beginning of the video, Microsoft main menu is still I can't handle. I can't accept that just loading the Microsoft uses my GPU at 80 or 90% when I want to, for example, download the Word Update 10. It's not reasonable. Developers should do something about this. And Microsoft Flight Simulator 2020 is still very slow. Main menus are very slow. The connection is very slow, at least for me. I don't know why. And many people out there are also complaining with their connection problems. I hope Microsoft do something about this. Just learn from the X-Plane guys. Whenever you try to fly in X-Plane, everything happens. Maybe in less than 1 minute you are on the runway. But in X-Plane, after 1 minute you're still on the logging page maybe, or the first loading page. It's not something that I can handle. Okay, I hope it will be helpful for you. In the next videos, maybe if I get times, I will share some results with VR, or maybe do some overclocks to my CPU and share the results for you if I see some specific improvements. If not, I will wait until the initial release of Sim Update 10. Until then, if you have some suggestion for the next videos and tests, please let me know in the comment section below. And also remember that I'm not a gamer or I'm not an advanced guy in system configuration. So this two video is different from other videos in my channel. So sorry if the quality is not very good and I'm not advanced with this. So let me know in the comment section below if you need to see anything else, and remember to follow my channel and subscribe to my channel if you like this kind of videos. Happy flying and good day.